Good morning, ladies. Happy Monday. As promised, I am here. I know you can't see me very well because the lighting in here is kind of terrible, but I just finished my workout and was sitting down to do my Bible study. And this morning, I wanted to talk about purpose a little bit. Let me see if there's a better light somewhere. I don't think there is. Hold on. Wait while some of you get on. Maybe if I... Let's see. Wah! This is why you should do this before you get on. Sorry, I sound kind of manly. I have like a cold or a sinus infection or something from this weather that is terrible, and a little bit of leftover makeup from last night. Let's see. That's a little better. We'll work with that. My connection isn't great, so hopefully I can get it done while I still have some connection. So I'll move you closer so you can see my face. I'm actually not drinking coffee yet. I'm still drinking my Recover stuff from my workout. But this morning we're going to talk about purpose. And I found the definition of purpose by Webster's Dictionary. The reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. And so I was sitting in church yesterday, just listening, and really didn't want to be there. Really didn't feel well yesterday, but after hemming and hawing all morning, I was like, well, I'm going to go because, I need to get something out of church. And I didn't end up going by myself. I went with my parents. Typically, if I'm going to drive to Wise County, I'll go to my church. But I just didn't feel like driving myself. Didn't really feel like going. And I wanted some help with Reese, to be quite honest. And so I was going, and I was just sitting there, and something that the preacher was talking about was purpose. Like, do we have purpose here on this earth? Does God have a purpose for me? And it just kind of hit me because, we question what our purpose is all the time. We question whether or not God has our best interests at heart, and why we go through certain things, and why certain things happen to us. But don't ever question whether or not we have purpose. I mean, and maybe you do. Maybe you do. I really have started to question my purpose in the last year just because of some things that have happened. And, it's kind of those unmistakable signs from God. And so I was sitting there yesterday, and I was like, what is the definition of purpose? Because I'm that scatterbrained person that if I hear one word, I can't let go of it. So I sit there, and I was going through the dictionary on my phone, and I found the definition of purpose. Well, then I started looking for scriptural references for purpose. And the story in Exodus 3 through however long it is talking about the story of Moses. And if you don't know the story of Moses, it's the second book in the Bible, really easy to find. He delivers the people out of Egypt on God's command. But the first part of it is what stuck out to me the most, because I feel a lot like Moses sometimes. I feel like I've been given this huge calling, and I ask God over and over again, why would you give this to me? I'm not good at speaking. I'm shy. I, have anxiety about things. And as I think about this, me and Moses were like this. Because the first thing Moses says to God, when he sees the burning bush in Exodus 3:11, but Moses protested to God, who am I to appear before Pharaoh? Who am I to lead the people of Israel out of Egypt? God answered, I will be with you, and this is your sign that I am the one who has sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God at this very mountain. But Moses protested, if I go to the people of Israel and tell them that the God of your ancestors sent me, they will ask me, what is his name? Then what should I tell them? He has all of these questions for God, because he's just like, this is a huge thing. And then I'm just a nobody. And God reminds him over and over and over again throughout the entire time. Because in chapter 4, he questions again, how will they know that, you are who you say you are? And I, because back then, this was before all of this was before Jesus' time, and this was, you know, prophetic signs were still happening, and God was still visibly showing himself through, you know, different things like a pillar of fire and all of this stuff, parting the Red Sea. Like, he was very visible to these people in the signs that he showed. And so, you know, Moses is asking again, like, what if they don't believe me? Like, what's going to be my sign? And while we don't necessarily have that now to where, you know, and God definitely could, but we still have that deep-rooted feeling and knowing that God has called us to more, that we have a bigger purpose for what we're supposed to do in our lives. And I know that. And I was listening to a preaching the other day by Stephen Furtick, and it was talking about how so much of our life that we focus on is simply the snapshots. This was just a snapshot of Moses' journey and life and his purpose. God didn't, this wasn't it. Like, his story wasn't just figuring out how to lead the people. Each little snapshot led up to the big story and the things that we remember, because they combined together to make up the story of Moses and the story of how he delivered the people out of Egypt, and then how they wandered in the desert for 40 years. You know, like, all of these things make up who Moses was. And it's similar to that in our own lives. All of these little snapshots of things that happen daily, or maybe occurrences that have happened in your life. The things that have happened in my life up till this point are not my defining story. And like I always tell my girls that I coach, it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. You know, ultimately my destination when I'm done with this world is going to be walking on the streets of gold, hand in hand with Jesus, I hope. Not I hope, but like I hope I get to hold his hand and be like, that cool. But each part of my life, each season that I walk through is a simple snapshot. This year of struggle and strife is a snapshot. And this pregnancy and the struggles that I've had with my pregnancy and the emotions and the craziness and everything, this is a snapshot. Motherhood for me is a snapshot, just like it is for many of you, because it's here for a second and then they're grown, you know? And it's one of those things that God's going to continue to build on as we're faithful. And finding that purpose and finding that understanding is part of understanding that the things that happen in your life are happening because God wants to speak through you, you know, to other people. My story is important because there is someone out there just like me that needs to see God's goodness and faithfulness through my actions and through the way that I've handled things. Not necessarily because I'm such an awesome, you know, follower, because I'm not. Like, I could be struck down. If I was still in the old days, I would be struck down many times just because I want to follow things, and then my mind kicks in and I'm like, I doubt, you know? So this life that we've been given is made up of snapshots, but it is not our entire story. Something that's happening right now is not where you're going to be forever. So if you're in that season of struggle like so many of us have been this year, it's not going to be forever. And you have to know that, and you have to believe that, and you have to have faith that God is going to send you to something bigger and better if you are faithful to believe that He will. You know, I have people all the time that are like, well, why doesn't God do this? Or why does He allow things to happen? You know, because He's working, He's doing a work within you. That I know some really awesome people that have had a really, really tough time this year, that have walked through some really awful things. But it is because of their journey through those awful things that more people have come to know the Lord. That more people are asking questions about this faith thing that they seem to have in a time that is so terrible. And so if you ever get to that point where you're just wondering, how could a good God allow bad things to happen? Bad things happen all the time, and they're going to continue to happen because they happened back in the day. But they are there. They are put in place because God wants to take those things and He wants to do a work within you. And sometimes these bad things that happen are what God uses to break down the walls so that you will finally submit to Him, and so that you will finally give it over to Him, and so you'll finally say, God, I can't do this alone. You ever wondered, after maybe you get to that point, sometimes I get to that point where I'm complacent, life is going great, I do my Bible study every day, and I just feel really great and awesome, and all these things are happening, and then I kind of stop needing God. I kind of stop praying. I kind of stop, seeking guidance for things that, even the smallest of things that before I would ask for. And then something big happens, and it gets my attention, and it's like, oh yeah, I can't do this by myself. My purpose is not found in simply what I know, because there are many things that I don't know. And so, if you're in that place and you're questioning that, are you relying on God? Or are you simply looking for a genie, someone to grant your wish and then go away? Because God is not a genie. God is God. So that's just something that I would encourage you to think about this morning, and really encourage you to question, like, what is my purpose? And if you don't know, write it down. Pray it out. God, what's my purpose? What am I here for? Give me a glimpse of that. Help me see that. I don't know what my purpose is. I know it's people. I know it's speaking. I know it's sharing the things that have happened in my life that are my snapshots that have changed radically the way that I look and see things, and the way that I look and see God. But I don't know what my full-blown purpose is, and I don't know that we'll ever have a clear answer on what that is. But we can always keep searching. We can always keep looking. We can always keep seeking His will for our life, because at some point it'll become apparent to us. I hope you guys have had a great morning. It started off on the right foot. I got up this morning and got some stuff done, and it felt good to just get up and be a little bit productive and get my day started and spend some quiet time. But I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.